Hey dreamers, this is Jade and I'm back with another journal with me. This one is mostly going to be drawing and outlining and watercoloring. So just so you know what's going to be going on in this video, and I'm happy to say I finally completed my last journal, which was a Midori A6 grid journal, and I was able to move into my Stalogy. Bonus for me, I've been doing cover pages with my Midori journal, and decided that I, at least for now, wanted to continue that in my Stalogy. So for April, I had already done a cover page with that included the theme of April showers and like Easter. I had a little Easter bunny climbing out of an umbrella. Well, I really wanted to also somewhere incorporate the fact that Game of Thrones was coming back in April, number one, and also the Avengers Endgame was happening in April as well. So just my luck, I finished that journal just in time, and I was able to start this new journal, and I'm behind, way behind on my April entries. So I'm able to do another April cover, and in this one I will be incorporating the theme of Game of Thrones as well as Avengers. So right here you see me drawing a little ghost figure. Ghost is the direwolf of Jon Snow, excuse me, in the Game of Thrones series. If you have not watched it, I recommend it. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating, this is my favorite show that has ever aired. It probably will be my favorite show until I pass away from this earth. It's just phenomenal. Everything about it is phenomenal. The storytelling, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Some of the episodes are cinema quality episodes. Like, I don't understand how people don't get into this show. However, I know everything is not for everybody. But if you are somebody who has been trying to watch this show and has found yourself struggling getting through the first season, my experience has been people who have a hard time getting through the first season, it's not exactly because the content is boring, it's because it's hard to keep up with so many of the characters in this show, and there are a lot of people to keep up with. But for me, once I got the for me, the books are always better, so I did have to, once I started watching the show, I was like, okay, I'm gonna read the books, and the books cleared everything up for me as far as who is who and da 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 da. I know not everybody is going to do that, so my suggestion would be to go online, maybe hit Wikipedia or something like that, and just figure out who the houses are, who the main people are in all of the houses, and once you kind of get the basic characters down, it is game over. Like, once season 2 rolled around and started playing, like, I was all in, I was obsessed. And I've turned many people onto this show, and they've all come back and thanked me, like, oh my god, thank you, this show is amazing, like, thank you for telling me about this show. And I also have, if anybody's interested, I do have a, from the very first episode of the very first season, a breakdown of the characters, the main characters that you see and the major players from the first episode, which would help newbies trying to figure out the houses and the characters and how this person relates to the next person and yada yada yada. So here I'm getting started on a little Drogon. Now, of course, you guys know I usually like to use reference pictures, so I chose pictures that were kind of chibi stylish to try and replicate in my journal. Whereas, although I feel like the ghost one is kind of a mixture of chibi and like normal style drawing as far as a direwolf goes. The dragon is a little more chibi like, even though it's about the same size as ghost once you once it's finished or whatever. So yeah, the ghost is Jon Snow's direwolf, and the dragon I'm drawing is going to be a chibi version of Drogon, which of course is Dany's dragon, the oldest of her 3. She has 3 dragons. Drogon, whom she named after her first husband, who is everything. I love me some Khal Drogo. And Drogon is the black and white dragon. And then you have Rhaegal, who she named after her oldest brother, who was Rhaegar Targaryen, who died on the Trident fighting in Robert's Rebellion, the war, because of. I'm not even going to get into that. That'll take the whole rest of this thing. So, just watch it. Anyway, Rhaegal. I think Rhaegal is green and blue. And then you have the youngest, which is Viserion, whom she named after her. Even though he was her oldest, he was her older brother. He was still the youngest brother. His name was Viserys, so she named the dragon Viserion after him. And I think he's like a creamy, goldish type color or whatever. So yeah, I'm just kind of finishing up Drogon as far as the sketching, and then I am going to in a minute once I finish Drogon. Yeah, see, I'm turning here. I'm trying to get that circle done. So to include the Avengers, of course, I couldn't, with the limited space that's left, do too much. So I just wrote April out using the Avengers A. That you see on all the logos. So it's the A with the what do you call that thing? The arrow in it, and of course the circle going around it. If you guys have not seen Avengers Endgame, it was amazing. I loved it. I loved Infinity. I'm just an Avengers fan. I've been a Marvel fan, or comic fan, really. And no, I'm not like a die-hard, know everything about all the comics type person. But I did, as a child, used to collect comic cards. I actually still have all of my comic cards. And I actually even have packs of comic cards that I never even opened. They're still in the package. So that's what I mean by, like, I used to collect comic cards. I also used to collect comic books and stuff like that. So, do I know every single thing about it? No, I don't. I wasn't that die hard of a fan, but it was just very intriguing to me as a kid. So, once they started making all of the Marvel movies, it was game over. I love them. For me, it started with like the initial Spider-Man series, and Spider-Man had always been one of my favorite comic cards. And though I wasn't that fond of the casting of Tobey Maguire in the original movies, I loved them just because it was Spider-Man, and I was like, this is pretty awesome. So yeah, I'd support it, and I actually thought they did a better job when they cast Andrew Garfield. I just thought it was a better casting, but the kid that they have playing Spider-Man now, Tom Holland, spot on, the most perfect casting in my opinion. I know other people may have a difference of opinion, and that is fine. But I feel like they finally hit the nail on the head with the casting of this new kid, and he seems like such a sweet kid in real life too. So anyway, yeah, really loving the Spider-Man casting, and that's like I said, those were the movies that kind of kicked it all off for me, and then of course you started getting into Avengers and Captain America and Iron Man and Thor and just all of them. And no, I haven't seen every single one of all of them. I've seen a lot of them though. I've seen all of Thor so far. I've seen all of the Iron Mans. I've seen all of the Captain Americas. Those are my favorite. I love the Captain America movies. Even the one people say is boring, the very first one, the kind of origin story of Captain America, the one people find most boring. I love it. I will sit, if it's on TV, I will sit and watch it like I ain't never seen it before. I think I've seen all of the Iron Man movies. I saw Doctor Strange, but I wasn't really paying attention when I was watching it, so I didn't like it very much. But I think if I go back and rewatch it and actually pay attention, I'll probably like it a whole lot better. The Thor movies, I like the Thor movies. I like the first and the third one best. I didn't really go for the Dark World that much. That's not one that I would sit and watch over and over and over again. But the first one was good. I've watched that plenty of times, and the last one was hilarious to me. So I definitely watched that one a few times, and we'll of course be watching that again. I'm trying to think of any of the other ones. I'm excited. I mean, all this time I feel like it's gone by, and I've always asked why hasn't Black Widow had her own movie yet, so I'm excited to see hers. I keep hearing rumblings that she should be getting her own movie that may be a prequel at some point soon, so that will be exciting to see. Um, of course, love Black Panther. I mean, I still have the whole Warrior Falls, T'Challa, T'Challa. I have that as my ringtone. So definitely obsessed with that one. Can't wait for number two. All of the Avengers films. And for me, Captain America Civil War just might as well have been another Avengers film with all of the Avengers that showed up in that movie. So, and another reason why I love the Captain America movies, because you get so many features of all the other characters that you love. Watch the Guardian of the Galaxy series, and I just love me some Groot. He is the cutest thing ever in life, especially baby Groot, and then teenagery Groot when he's all sassy and stuff. Too cute. So yeah, I've been a Marvel fan. Like I said, not a diehard. There's some of those I've not seen. Like I didn't really get into. I did watch the first Deadpool. I haven't seen the second one yet. I probably eventually will, but it's not top priority for me. Let's see, what's the other one? Ant-Man. I watched the first one, and again, it was one of those things where I was kind of halfway paying attention, so I didn't really go for it. But I wonder if I actually pay attention to it, if I would like it better. So I have probably should rewatch that one, but I've yet to see Ant-Man and Wasp. I'm trying to think of any others. There's been so many. I haven't seen Captain Marvel yet. I probably will once it hits DVD and stuff like that. So yeah, a Marvel fan, but like I said, again, for the millionth time, like not super super die hard. But like if it's Captain America, if it's Avengers, I'm watching it. Like it's not even a question on if I'm gonna see it. I'm watching it. So. Absolutely love it. I mean, I am here for it. Have you guys seen? Have you been watching the new season of Game of Thrones? The first, let's see, today is the second. So far we've only had 3 episodes, and I've loved every single one of it. This last episode, The Long Night, was amazing. Amazing. Okay, I do have recaps of the episodes on my channel if anybody's interested. I don't know who all are Game of Thrones fans out here, but yeah, the first 2 episodes we just kind of see people coming together, being reunited. I mean, some of these characters haven't been in scenes together since the very first season, so it was awesome to see all the reunions, and then the information being passed along. I mean, like pertinent information. So that's why I had somebody on my Facebook, one of my friends was like, nothing really happened in the second episode. I'm like, do you want the whole story in like 2 days? You gotta give it a little bit of a build up. I think they're already pushing it with just 6 episodes for this season. Like, can you give them a little bit of time to develop the story a bit? Like, do you want the whole thing in 2 episodes? Come on now, like let's be real. There's still more information that needs to be shared. There's still strategies that need to be figured out. Yada yada yada. So anyway, I just was like, come on now. Anyway, but the Long Night, oh my god. Okay, tip for you guys who've watched The Long Night and complained about it being dark, because the first time I watched it, I was at my cousin's house and it was super super dark, and of course I came home and had to rewatch it again, and it was still dark on my television, like trying to figure out what is going on. And finally, I was like, Jay, duh, brighten your screen up. So my third go round, I adjusted the brightness on my television screen, and I was able to see everything clearly. So if that was a struggle for you and you still haven't figured it out, play with your screen settings, brighten it up, and you'll be able to see everything. The Long Night was everything. Arya for the win. I hope I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. I apologize if I have, but I think everybody should have watched Game of Thrones by now. If you're a fan like that, then you should know. And then those who haven't, you really wouldn't even know what I'm talking about anyway. So yeah, anyway, here I'm finally finishing up the watercoloring. I'm just going to watercolor in April here with red ink to kind of match the eyes of Drogon and Ghost there because Ghost is a white dire wolf with red eyes, and then I'll add more yellow where that circle is to kind of bring in all the colors together. And here I am just taking, of course, my regular uni pens and my white jelly roll ink pen, and adding the eyes or accents to the eyes or whatever. And I'm taking my .05 uni pen and doing the outline, which just makes the watercolor and just makes the pictures pop more off the page, which I love. Like, I really, 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 really love the way that this picture ended up. Like, I'm very proud of it. So yeah, it was fun to do. It took a little while, but hey, such is life when you're trying to create art or just do something fun in your journal. And again, for me, when I'm journaling, it's kind of like a meditative type thing. Once I get in my flow, once I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. Like, nothing is really disturbing me. I'm just feeling it. I'm loving it. There on the side, you can see I actually accidentally smeared the red in the little scales at the back. So I try to cover it up later with white jelly roll pen. It doesn't exactly work out for me, but oh well. Like I said, I actually really love the way that this ended up anyway. So hey, and if you're not making mistakes, then you're not doing it right anyway. Like, not everything's gonna be 100% perfect all the time when you're trying to do art, and that's one thing I've been having to teach and tell myself and understand, that it's just everything's not going to be perfect all the time. So anyway, that is pretty much going to wrap this up. If you enjoyed this content, I'd appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel, like, share, hit the bell icon to get the notifications of when I post, usually Mondays and Fridays. I've been doing a little bit extra for Game of Thrones, and that is going to wrap this post up. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate your support. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.